Good evening. Welcome to the December 3rd meeting of the Oceanside City Council. We have some exciting things on the agenda. I would like to go ahead and get started with roll call, please. Mr. Navarro.
Mayor Sanchez.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Joyce.
Present.
Councilmember Figueroa.
Present.
Councilmember Robinson. Councilmember Weiss.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation. Tonight we have Senior Pastor James Schrader. From the Wave Church.
Please bow your heads. Let's open in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you that your Holy Spirit is in this place. Father, we thank you. Your word says that where there are 2, 3, or more gathered in your name, that you are in their midst. Father, tonight we pray for wisdom to echo through these halls. Every word that is spoken, every decision made, Father, that it may be guided by your wisdom. Tonight, Father, we ask for a special blessing over our mayor and all the council members. We ask, Father God, that you right now just deposit wisdom upon them and crown them with that. Tonight also, Lord, we thank you for Nathan Usher, 12-year-old young man who demonstrated bravery in aiding and rescuing those 5 people. Father, right now, we ask that you bless him and his family. Thank you that you blessed him with so much courage and so much bravery that he is an example to us all. We thank you, Father God, for everything, and may you receive all the praise, all the glory, and all the honor. And we ask all this in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. And everyone said,
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Borrego, would you please lead us?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I'd like to go ahead and do the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the Payom Kawicham, the people of the West, as the traditional land caretakers of the land on which Oceanside is built and its surrounding traditional cultural landscapes. Today, the Payom Kawicham are known as Luiseño and are made up of 7 bands: La Jolla, Pala Palma, Pichanga, Rincon, San Luis Rey, and Saboba. We are mindful of the indigenous peoples in this place, and we pay our respects to the Luiseño, past, present, and emerging. We are grateful to have the opportunity to be part of this community in Luiseño territory and to honor their history, culture, and perseverance of spirit. Thank you. Thank you, and we're at the top of the agenda, which is proclamations and presentations, and we do have something very, very special to acknowledge today, and a young man of 12 years old who did some heroic things, a hero at 12 years old. What can we expect, when he actually becomes an adult? But anyway, today we first start off with a proclamation in honor of Nathan Usher, Oceanside Junior Lifeguard, and also at the same time we are doing honoring the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program, which made it possible for this to happen. I understand, Nathan, come on down. I understand that you were in the program for 4 years, so this was something that you were ready, right? Come on down. And Lola Swank, what's her title again? Sergeant, who is the leader. And we've got several people here from the Junior Lifeguard Program. So we're going to start with the proclamation in honor of Nathan Usher. Whereas the City of Oceanside is committed to promoting safety, preparedness, and responsible citizenship among its young residents through programs such as the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program. And whereas on November 2nd, 2025, at the entrance to the Oceanside Harbor, a 25-foot powerboat capsized in breaking waves, placing 5 individuals in immediate and life-threatening danger. And whereas 12-year-old Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Nathan Usher was on a fishing trip with his family when he witnessed the capsized vessel and recognized the urgent need for action. And whereas demonstrating remarkable composure, situational awareness, and leadership well beyond his years, Nathan immediately alerted a nearby jet skier who was then able to assist in bringing several victims to safety. And whereas Nathan further displayed courage and life-saving skill by helping pull 3 of the 5 victims from the water onto his family's boat, and by administering first aid to an individual who sustained a leg injury. And whereas due to these swift and heroic actions, all 5 individuals were successfully rescued, with 3 transported to a local hospital for minor injuries. And whereas Nathan's actions reflect the highest ideals of the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program and demonstrate the value of its training, which equips young community members with vital life-saving knowledge, ocean safety awareness, and the confidence to act decisively in emergencies. And whereas the City of Oceanside is proud to recognize Nathan Usher for his bravery, maturity, and service to others, which serve as an inspiration to the entire community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Sanchez, on behalf of the City of Council of Oceanside, do hereby recognize and commend Nathan Usher for his heroic life-saving efforts, extending our deepest appreciation on behalf of the City of Oceanside. Nathan, wow. Now, I did see you on the news, so I know that you speak pretty well. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Nathan Usher, and I do have a few things I would like to say about the Junior Guards program. I've been doing it for a handful of years, and I always have a lot of fun during summer, and I really think that everybody should be able to do it.
Well, congratulations to your family that said, hey, yeah, we could get you there, you know, and get and do this program. So parents, see how important this program is, you know. And I do have a proclamation in honor of the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program, which made this possible. And here they stand, most of our program. And so whereas City of Oceanside is committed to promoting safety, preparedness, and responsible citizenship among its young through programs such as the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program. And whereas the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program provides young participants with essential training in ocean safety, life-saving skills, physical fitness, leadership, and teamwork. And whereas the program instills confidence, right, discipline, and respect for the ocean environment, preparing the youth to make responsible decisions and respond appropriately during emergencies. And whereas Oceanside Junior Lifeguards contribute to a safer community by exemplifying the highest ideals of public service, ocean stewardship, and community engagement. And whereas City of Oceanside proudly recognizes the dedication of the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program, staff, participants, and families who support the development of the next generation of ocean safety leaders. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Sanchez, on behalf of the Oceanside City Council, do hereby recognize and commend the Oceanside Junior Lifeguard Program for its outstanding contributions to youth development, public safety, and the protection of Oceanside's beaches, extending our deepest appreciation on behalf of the entire City of Oceanside. Thank you. And thank you, Lola. I'll give you that. And also give you the mic.
I'm just going to say I'm really proud of this team and this program, but I'm going to turn it over quickly to the ocean experts.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, Honorable Council, and our community. We are so proud of this group, so proud of Nathan. He's a testament to this team, the program, and the hard work of our program manager, Lola Swank. I do want to present something because in addition to making national news and Good Morning America, we also made the O-Cider homegrown. Check. I think the mic, good? We made the O-Cider, so we'd like to present you, Mayor, and the council with this framed copy of the cover. Thank you very much, and I'm gonna hand it over to our program manager, Lola Swank. She's put so much time, effort into this program, hours and hours, and we have big plans for the future. Our goals are to turn nobody away, get more youth involved in the program, and expand. So very exciting times. Thank you, Nathan. Here's Lola.
All right, thank you guys so much. I want to thank the team here. These junior guard instructors are what makes the program excel. I'm happy for your trust and support the community. It's the highlight of my career being a junior guard coordinator. I love it dearly, and here it is. It's a good testament to what we all do every day. So thank you so much, and these instructors are amazing to work with. Thank you to the community for your support, and definitely look more forward to better times with more kids involved. Thank you. Oh wait, 1 second, sorry. The Boosters has a junior guard sweatshirt for Nathan. And one of our new ones we're selling this Sunday at our fundraiser. So if you're interested, please come on down. Oh, yeah, really quick. I'm gonna introduce Taryn Davis.
Hi, my name is Taryn Davis, lead instructor.
Hi, my name is Ethan Lair. I've been instructing for 2 years now.
My name is Olivia Wagner. I've been instructing 4 years, and I'm also a lead instructor.
I'm Sebastian Sanders, and I'm a third-year instructor.
Hi, I'm Aiden Cleric, and I've been instructing for 4 years.
Hi, I'm John Farner, and I've been an instructor for 4 years.
Wyatt Wagner, and I've also been instructing for 4 years.
Jessamine Speck, Deputy Fire Chief, and very proud of our team. Thanks.
Thank you. We'd like a picture. Let's see if we can get closer together. Yeah, and wow, so excited. And council members, if you'd like to join us. Thank you.
Say it, but we just finished selecting lifeguards for 2026. I forgot to say this. I'm working on selections for our incoming lifeguards for the summer of 2026, and 11 of them I can proudly report were directly out of our junior lifeguard program. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Next, we have a proclamation in honor of Laurel Elementary for 70 years in Oceanside. Come on down. We do have Dieter Swank, principal. Okay, I don't know if you realize, but that was his other half. That was just Lola, who was just up here. They've been residents of Oceanside for a long time, and Dieter has been with Oceanside Unified School District for 28 years. Yeah. Christy couldn't be here today, Hawthorne, but she gave me a few things to add to this proclamation, and so I'm going to go ahead and read it. Whereas Laurel Elementary was built in 1955 as a community school serving the needs of the East Side neighborhood. And whereas Marie Chavez, that's Lucy Chavez's sister, as well as Joe Chavez's sister, an activist for the East Side neighborhood, approached Ben Fugate, then superintendent of Oceanside Schools, regarding the siting of a new elementary school on Laurel Street. which proved instrumental in the decision of Oceanside Schools to purchase that site for another much-needed elementary school. And whereas the East Side community was at that time and continues to be one of the most diverse communities in Oceanside. Starting in the 1940s, military families began living in the East Side, where housing was most affordable. In addition, Sterling Homes was built in the East Side in 1944, serving the needs of thousands of military families until it was demolished in 1988. And whereas despite the neighborhood's low-income families, Laurel Elementary has produced many successful students who have contributed greatly to the City of Oceanside and beyond. In 1981, then Principal William Wagner began the school district's first annual Hall of Fame program at Laurel Elementary to acknowledge its successful students and to encourage Laurel Elementary students to dream big. And whereas the first inductee into the Laurel Elementary Hall of Fame was football legend Willie Buchanan. Other inductees include Justice Gilbert Nadas, who served for many years on the 4th District Court of Appeal, Oceanside Mayor Terry Johnson, the first African-American mayor of San Diego County, and Junior Seau. And whereas Rachel Lopez, a retired clerk of Laurel Elementary, kept the tradition of the Laurel Elementary Hall of Fame going for years. Ethel Mama Buchanan was a big supporter of the program, attending every single year's ceremony together with Bill Wagner. And whereas this year, 2025, marks the 70th anniversary of Laurel Elementary. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Sanchez, on behalf of the Oceanside City Council, do hereby proclaim December 3rd, 2025 as Laurel Elementary Day in the City of Oceanside in honor of the many principals, teachers, administrators, families, parents, and community members who have given greatly to making Laurel Elementary a model community school reflective of the history and future of many students, contributing to successful lives and careers. And I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic to Mr. Swad.
Thank you very much, Mayor, honorable council members. We are very excited to be here tonight and to be able to have this honor of being in the community for 70 years. It has truly been an honor for me to lead Laurel, and I would absolutely invite any of you to come by and take a look at what we have going on there and to see our Hall of Fame. One note of, since we're here in this room at the moment, Laurel Elementary is the only elementary school in Oceanside that has 2 former students that have gone on to be the mayor in Oceanside, the aforementioned Terry Johnson and our present mayor, Esther Sanchez. Yep, the only elementary school in the city of Oceanside that has that honor. So thank you very much for this. This will be truly treasured at Laurel Elementary. Please come by and see the wonderful things that we're doing.
This is Rachel. She so loved Laurel and the students that after she retired, she never really left, because she made sure that this very important tradition continued year after year after year. So, Rachel, would you like to say a few words?
Well, I worked in Laurel's for many years, and Mr. Wagner had a dream about honoring our schools because we were always considered the rough side of town. But if anybody would go to the school, you would see our Laurel Hall of Fame and all the kids that came from that school, what they have accomplished at our school. I'm very proud of having worked there for many years with a few principals, but I'm retired now, but I still try and help my kids. And anyway, please visit Laurel and go and check out our Hall of Fame, and you'll be surprised who we have there from our side of town. Thank you.
Do we know how many? How many Hall of Famers we have up there?
Over 80.
Over 80.
Yeah, we're probably getting
Doctors, lawyers, teachers, yes.
Nurses, like you said, lawyers, teachers, you name it, we have it.
Pretty cool neighborhood.
They're all from Laurel, the east side section.
Yeah. Did you want to say a few words, identify yourself?
Oh, hi, my name is Karina. I'm part of an organization called Anyone Can Dream, and we're just working really close with Laurel to help students keep dreaming and believing that they can be successful. So please visit the Laurel Hall of Fame, and I'm again thankful, and I'm thankful to be here. Thank you.
So we have a picture. If the council members would like to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, better. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care of our babies. Appreciate you.
Next, I'm going to do a presentation on a trip that I took to Kisarasu, Japan. Kisarasu, Japan is actually a sister city. We've got 2 in Japan. Kisarasu this year, we celebrated 35 years of being a sister city. And how does it get on the screen? Okay. So what happened was I received a letter from the mayor, Mayor Watanabe, and inviting me, thank you. Can you tell I've never done this before? Okay. Inviting me to attend their International Organics Industry Forum. Now, this forum is something that that Kisarasu, the city of Kisarasu, has been participating in for 10 years. So it was their 10th anniversary. It's the first time that they actually sponsored it. It has been sponsored by other international cities. I think the year before it was in Portugal. And so the invitation became not just come to this conference, but to basically give the keynote address. And I want to thank the Green Team of Oceanside for helping me put that speech together. They wanted a 30-minute speech, and boy, our Green Team really hit it out of the park. While it was called organic, it was also about sustainability. So just giving you, I arrived at Kisarasu, at Tokyo, Japan airport on Halloween day at 5 o'clock in the morning. And so here is the deputy mayor welcoming me to Japan. On the way to Kisarasu, and basically Kisarasu is across the bay, across Tokyo Bay. They explained that there is this bridge called the Aqua Line. Half of it is a tunnel, and the other half is a bridge so that the boats can go in and out of the bay. Kisarasu is the first city, or the closest city, to Tokyo that they consider as having a countryside. These are folks that have participated in some form or another with what we used to have is the Sister City Commission or Committee. And these folks have all traveled to Oceanside at some point. This is lunch, organic lunch. So everything there was grown organically and locally. These are students and the mayor, Watanabe, as well as the deputy mayor and the interpreter that was there for the first day and my last day at Kisarasu, interpreting for me, and also the superintendent for the schools at Kisarasu, as well as some of the students. And they're doing an O for Oceanside. Whenever they come, they get very, very excited about being here in Oceanside. So at the conference, we actually had a visitor stop by who is actually from our other sister city in Japan, and that's Fuji City. So he came by and said, okay, I want to make sure that you're coming next year as well. So I said, absolutely. But he already has a hat because he came in, I think it was August of this past year. Kisarasu is very, very green, and I took a picture to show that the countryside. Forestry is actually one of their industries in Kisarasu, along with bamboo. This is the mascot. It's a raccoon for the city of Kisarasu. It's right in front of City Hall. We went into City Hall, and we basically had a little class, a mini class on Kisarasu. This is one of the farmers who is doing organic farming for rice. One of the goals for the whole country is to do organic rice, and they're at 30% at this point, 30%. They really wanted to try to figure out how to make the lunches for the students more nutritious. And so what they came up with was a subsidized program of organic rice to encourage the farmers to continue to farm rice. Much like here in Oceanside, farming is getting, the generations, each generation is wanting less and less to farm. But it's so critical to the economy and to the health of the community. So I did meet several farmers, very excited about the programs that the country has for farming organic rice. This is in front of the City Hall, Sparkle City. It's actually now called Organic City. Here we're at a rice farm, and there were several of us from different places. We have a few people here from the Philippines. They actually sent folks to this conference because the Philippines also wants to explore doing organic rice farming. There was also folks from India and from Portugal. And other countries. This is the deputy mayor, and here we're actually at the bay, Tokyo Bay, on the side of Kisarasu, and they actually have a bit of a harbor. Didn't get to know too much about it, but they actually do have very famous for their clams. So they were showing me, okay, this is where we have clams with the seaweed. Almost everywhere you go, you see Mount Fuji. It's so beautiful. I mean, and they said this is really rare to be able to see it at that time. It's usually more visible during the winter, December, etc. These are the folks that went to the conference, including Mayor Watanabe and some other folks there. So you see Mount Fuji in the background. And these are the mayors that were there at the time, and that's mayor from Portugal, Mayor Watanabe, and myself. This is a picture with, we stopped by a cultural place, and you see there's two women who are dressed up in the traditional kimono. This is one of the temples. Here's another one. This is dinner, and the person who joined us for dinner is one of the governors for the Philippines, also very much interested in organic farming. This is on the grounds of a farm, organic farm, 75 acres, and the gentleman on the far left was talking to us about how it's pretty much certified all organic, but they also have a slaughterhouse there. And what they do is slaughter wild boar and deer. These are very harmful to the farms, and so they do it as kindly and humanly kindly as possible. They use all of the animals. This is a water buffalo, and interestingly enough, the water buffalo, they make mozzarella cheese from the milk of the water buffalo. This is a library. Wouldn't it be nice to have grass on top of the library? Yeah. Okay, so this is wild boar and edamame on a pizza. Just thought you might want to see what it looked like. This is wild boar and deer. And here we are, you know, I think we already ate everything up, so. The sunsets there were wonderful. We were moved from the countryside to the bay. Again, this is Mount Fuji, and some of those are places where the seaweed is and the clams. We were treated for our last night there, for my last night there, with a very nice dinner, of course, sushi, but also theater, kabuki theater. So the theater actually ended up being 4 actors, 2 very traditional and 2 modern. One of the modern, was a very famous Japanese breakdancer. And I didn't bring the last scene of the play, but it was amazing, really amazing, bringing the 2 traditional and modern together. Basically, the storyline was finding power. And in the end, they found power in a circle, in a ball, and that power was truth. So it was really wonderful. These are 2 of the actors, and see the ball that one of them is holding, that's power, the power of truth. These are the other 2, the more traditional. This is the room where I stayed that last night. There's Mount Fuji again. And this is basically saying goodbye at the airport. And it was a wonderful trip. And I do hope that we begin actually having a delegation go to Kisarasu. And they are working on Godzilla at the airport, Tokyo Airport. So that's the only part that they have so far. Hopefully next year there'll be more of Godzilla to see. And that is it. So I got there Friday at 5 a.m. And I came back Monday at 1 p.m., but arrived in LAX at 5 a.m. Monday. So it's some kind of time warp thing, right? Thank you. Mr. Burke, the closed session report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. There was no meeting in closed session on item 1, Conference of Labor Negotiation. On item 2, litigation, Conference of Legal Counsel, existing litigation, there were 3 items. Gerhard Villagron versus the City of Oceanside, Larry Weber versus City of Oceanside, and Bradford Portlock versus City of Oceanside, all workers' comp matters. There was direction given, but no reportable action under the Brown Act at this time. On item 3, anticipated litigation involving CAPP Inc. et al. Versus Discover Financial Services et al. Council met in closed session and unanimously approved the city to opt into the class action related to the Discover Financial Services. My office will be directing that. Item 4, conference with real property negotiator on section 1. Council did meet in closed session regarding city-owned property located at 1900 Harbor Drive North. Negotiating party, City of Oceanside and Aloha Partners. Negotiator, Vicky Gutierrez, real estate manager for the city regarding price and terms for lease real property. No reportable action at this time, and there was no meeting on number 2 related to 615 Mission Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next are consent calendar items, items 5 through 15. Are there any requests from the public to pull?
We have a request from the public to pull item number 8.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the balance? Thank you. Is there a second? Second. All right, there's a motion and second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 8, staff recommends that the City Council approve Amendment 4 to the professional services agreement with the Lightfoot Planning Group in the amount of $39,670 for a revised contract amount not to exceed $322,515 for specialized soil inspection services for the El Corazon Phase 2A Trails Project, or is that 11A? And authorize the city manager to execute the amendment upon receipt of all supporting documentation. Mr. Knott.
Mayor, council members, Jimmy Knott, 127 Cherry Lane. I wanted to bring to your attention that here at El Corazon, this site has been studied, restudied, and studied again for soil inspection, as can be confirmed by our council member, Peter Weiss, over here, who has been coordinating the site since he was a city engineer years ago. I remember him out trying to rescue a dozer out in the site late in the night and early in the morning, and also putting in different aspects of trying to take the different water and draining it that took months. But I think that this has been sort of excessively studied, and I think this is coming to a point, how far can we study and what can we study? And I would say that maybe we better start thinking about what type of studies and when is too much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Weiss?
Move approval, staff recommendation.
Okay. Okay, there's a motion and second. I believe that, well, first of all, it was a sand mining project for decades. I don't think that we can be too safe, because anything sinking out there, we definitely need to make sure that for the plans that we have for parks and recreation, if we have any buildings at all that we want to build, it has to be very, very solid. And so this is basically crossing the T's, dotting the I's. There is a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 16, staff recommends City Council approve the amended and restated lease with Oceanside Museum of Art for property located at 704-714 Pierview Way, expanding the current premises to include the former Fire Station No. 1 building with terms for its renovation, and to update the lease terms and conditions with the initial term to expire October 5th, 2052, with two 22-year extension options. Appropriate $346,382 from general fund infrastructure reserves, and authorize the city manager to execute the lease upon receipt of all supporting documents. And we've got a presentation by Kimberly Duffin, our city's senior property agent. Ms. Duffin?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. Again, I am Kimberly Duffin, a senior property agent with the Property Management Division of the Public Works Department, here to point out some deal points and highlights of the amended and restated lease with the Oceanside Museum of Art. Mayor-san?
Sorry. Don't put anything in my hands because I might walk away from. Oh, I did.
Staff is recommending that the City Council approve the amended and restated lease with the Oceanside Museum of Art for the property located at 704 and 714 Pierview Way, expanding the current premises to include the former Fire Station Number 1 with terms for its renovation, and to update the lease terms and conditions with the initial term to expire October 5th, 2052, and with two 22-year conditional extension options. Also recommending appropriation of $346,382 from the General Fund Infrastructure Reserves, and authorizing the city manager to execute the lease upon receipt of all supporting documents. Little history on this. In June 1995, the city leased the former City Hall building located at 704 Pierview Way to the Oceanside Cultural Arts Foundation. The Cultural Arts Foundation subsequently assigned the lease to the Oceanside Museum of Art. Going forward in this presentation, we will be referring to the Oceanside Museum of Art as OMA. On November 7th, 2001, the First Amendment to lease expanded the premises to include the adjacent parking lot on which OMA planned to construct an additional building for museum operations. It also included provisions to amend the lease to include the former Fire Station Number 1 property. In 2008, OMA completed construction of a two-story, 16,000 square foot building on the lot, which was incorporated into OMA's museum operations. In September 2017, the city entered into the Second Amendment and committed to match funds donated to OMA up to $50,000 per year for years 2017, 18, and 19. And that matching was satisfied by the city. In September 2024, the city vacated the former fire station property. OMA has now engaged Softy Rabins, a renowned architectural firm, to prepare the architectural plans and specifications for proposed renovations of the fire station property in an effort to preserve the historical significance of the building. Today, OMA requests to amend and restate the lease to include the former fire station property as part of the premises. This slide shows the properties which comprise the premises, properties A, B, and C. To the left is the former City Hall building and surrounding property. In the middle is the central pavilion property with the building that OMA constructed in 2008 and its surrounding property. And on the right is the former fire station property, including the building and the surrounding property. Going forward, it's important to note that the former fire station property will not be a part of the leased premises until certain stated conditions in the lease are satisfied. The agreement provides terms pertaining to all three buildings and their surrounding properties with terms to renovate the fire station property. The agreement will replace the original lease in its entirety. The initial term of the agreement commenced October 6, 1997, and as proposed, expires in 55 years on October 5th, 2052. The agreement provides two conditional options to extend the agreement for 22 years each requiring approval by a city council for a total combined term of up to 99 years if extended. The city is proposing to provide funding for a portion of the renovation of the fire station property in the amount of $1.5 million, which will include the following: $852,814 towards the costs of the architectural and engineering plans, $500,000 for the elevator purchase and installation in the fire station building, $41,570 for the cost of the seismic retrofit study, $12,048 for the cost of the hazardous materials assessment report, and the balance for OMA's use for construction costs of approximately $93,568. The city will also pay the cost related to removal of hazardous materials within the fire station building. OMA has commenced fundraising efforts to satisfy the funding milestones in the agreement in order to include the fire station property in the premises. OMA is required to construct the fire station renovation utilizing prevailing wage. The estimated construction commencement date is currently April 30th, 2027. OMA is required to raise a minimum of 70% of the total direct costs identified in the estimated project development schedule in the agreement to include the fire station property in the premises. OMA is required to report annually on its progress in raising funds for the renovation, and OMA will be responsible for paying all utilities for the premises. OMA's maintenance obligations under the agreement include the following. OMA is to maintain the non-structural interiors of the former City Hall building and the fire station building and the entirety of the central pavilion property, meaning non-structural and structural, interior and exterior of the central pavilion property. During the initial term, which terminates October 5th, 2052, OMA is responsible for payment of 50% of all extra costs necessary for ongoing maintenance and repair of the fire station building elevator that are above the scheduled maintenance to be handled by the city. The city shall be responsible during the initial term for paying the remaining 50% of the extra costs. Should this agreement be extended beyond the termination date of the initial term, OMA shall be solely responsible for payment of all extra costs necessary for ongoing maintenance and repair of the fire station building elevator. The city's maintenance obligations under the agreement include the following. The maintenance of the structural interiors of the former City Hall building and the fire station building. The maintenance of structural and non-structural exteriors and the HVAC for both the former City Hall building and the fire station building. The landscape maintenance for the premises. The basic scheduled elevator maintenance for the fire station building elevator only, not including parts, materials, and labor to keep the elevator operational, which will be handled as extra costs to be shared equally between OMA and the city during the initial term. The 5-year recertification for the fire station building elevator, the future replacement, if needed, of the original historic exterior windows and doors for the former City Hall and the fire station buildings. And finally, the future replacement of the fire station building elevator, if required. The programs, services, and activities to be provided by OMA and the proposed renovations of the fire station property, along with OMA's maintenance obligations, shall constitute the consideration to the city from OMA for its use of the premises. In conclusion, staff is recommending that City Council approve the amended and restated lease with Oceanside Museum of Art for the property located at 704 and 714 Clearview Way, expanding the current premises to include the former fire station number 1 with terms for its renovation, and to update the lease terms and conditions with the initial term to expire October 5th, 2052, with 2 conditional 22-year extension options. Also recommending appropriation of $346,382 from General Fund Infrastructure Reserves. And finally, authorizing the city manager to execute the lease upon receipt of all supporting documents. This concludes my presentation. I am available for any questions. Before that, Ms. Allison Handley, the president of the Board of Directors of the Oceanside Museum of Art, is with us tonight, and she would like to share a few words with council on behalf of the Museum of Art. Mayor, how would you like to move forward? Would you like Ms. Handley to speak first, or would you like to
Bring
ask
her
some
up.
questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on down. Exciting times.
It is. Mayor Sanchez and city council members and visitors and citizens of Oceanside. I'm Allison Handley, and I'm honored to serve as president of the board. And accompanying me this evening is another former board member and an Oceanside resident, Paul Dooley. We are very pleased to be at this momentous time, and I want to acknowledge and thank the City of Oceanside for your continuous, from the origins of the Oceanside Museum of Art, support and collaboration. Thanks also to the amazing staff who it's taken a while to get here because, of course, with potential acquisition of Fire Station 1, the lease needed to be fully reviewed and to incorporate a lot of additional items. The expansion of Oceanside Museum of Art into the adjacent property will continue the outstanding work of the museum to provide cultural and artistic opportunities that strengthen not only the city of Oceanside, North County, and the county, but the entire region. This will enable us to flourish in the area of arts, and Paul Dooley and I are happy to respond to any questions that you might have this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I understand there are no requests to speak from the public on this. Well, Paul, this is the most quiet. I know you're excited in there. I know inside you're jumping up and down. You've given so much to the museum, from the first expansion now to the second expansion. Thank you for everything that you've been, all your contributions to this project. Thank you. Councilmember Weiss.
Yeah, I have a question for the city manager. On the slide, it identified a number of city maintenance responsibilities. Do we know what the annual costs of those are going to be and where that money would come from?
I'm going to pass that question on to our real estate manager, Vicki.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Honorable Mayor, council members, Councilmember Weiss, I'm going to pull that sheet open. The maintenance responsibilities, there's been a switch in some of the responsibilities, so we have been paying certain things that are kind of, that we're not going to be paying anymore. We were paying some utility maintenance and things like that. We will not be paying any costs related to the OMA building, the center building. That's all responsibility of the museum. So the trade-off that we're doing with there's some additional responsibilities, for example, related to the elevator. So we have accommodated that in the total cost. So we're not spending, initially we shouldn't be spending anymore.
Mr. Borrego?
Yeah, just to kind of tear off of what Vicki was saying, during the negotiations, we spent quite a bit of time talking about maintenance responsibilities, and I'm sure the folks at home can attest to that. And there was a lot of back and forth. There are a lot of costs that we're currently absorbing on the campus that we will no longer be absorbing, and vice versa. There's some things that we committed to do, and I think that overall the balance is fair.
Councilmember Figueroa?
Thank you, Mayor. For our city manager, under conditions subsequent, who on the city staff is monitoring, making sure that OMA is meeting the requirements set forth by the agreement to make sure that accessibility from our community is being met as far as the measurables laid out in the agreement? Who on city staff will be overseeing that?
That would be the property management division.
Okay. And would that be something that we will receive a report on yearly, or how does that work?
Yeah, they are required, as you can see under the agreement, they are required to report to us annually, and we can certainly pass that information on to the city council if that's the request.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I want to say there was a complete explosion of programs and presentations and artists, and I mean, including our lowrider community. It's been an amazing change that is been so embracing of all the cultural art of Oceanside and cultural artists. It was not like that before the expansion, And my recollection for the original dream was to include Alta and Baja California artists and be a depository for all of this art. And with the idea that including now the former Fire Station 1 would be able to just tenfold make this a real place setter, not just for Oceanside, really not just for North County, but the entire county of San Diego. So I just have to say, I think that the board has done a wonderful job. Executive director has done a wonderful job, and including being so inclusive. It was not like that before, probably because there needed to be changes, there needed to be an expansion. Can't do a whole lot with a small space. And so when that centerpiece, well, we call it centerpiece now, between the old and coming Fire Station 1, with that coming in, it just became something that dreams are made of. So I'm going to go ahead and move the approval of the agreement. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Joyce?
Yeah, just want to say thank you to staff and the OMA team that worked on this. I know it took a lot of work to get to where we're at. The idea that our children of our community have more space with the expansion, and that some of this community programming is going to be a lot easier with the spaces as they're going to be designed for the future. Even right now, we have hundreds of students coming in from Oceanside Unified Schools each year. This is going to make that easier and a more meaningful and deeper connection. So I'm very excited, and I look forward to seeing how this historic building is melded into the experience that we have right now.
Thank you. There's a motion and second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 17, staff recommends City Council introduce an ordinance amending Article 14, Section 14.1 of the Oceanside Traffic Code by establishing various new speed limits on streets identified in Table A, which is attachment A. We have a presentation by Abraham Chen, Associate Traffic Engineer. Mr. Chen?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Hi, my name is Abraham Chen. I'm Associate Engineer with Traffic Engineering. Staff recommends that City Council introduce an ordinance amending Article 14, Section 14.1 of the Oceanside Traffic Code by establishing various new speed limit on the streets. In California, there's two ways to establish speed limits, either to the state or to the local authority. For example, states establishes the maximum speed limit, such as 25 miles per hour in neighborhoods, or 55 miles per hour on two-lane highways. Local authority can establish speed limit by conducting an engineering traffic survey and adopting an ordinance. We conduct speed survey to find out the 85th percentile speed, or also known as critical speed. The critical speed means that 85% of drivers are traveling at critical speed or slower. We then set the speed limit to the nearest 5 miles per hour to the critical speed. If justified, California Vehicle Code allows us to lower the speed limit an additional 5 miles per hour. When feasible, we also take advantages of the Assembly Bill 43 or AB 43 to reduce the speed limit an additional 5 miles per hour. if those streets are near facility that generate high concentration of bicyclists and pedestrians. The following two slides shows proposed speed limit for the various street segments. Note that speed limit with the asterisk are speed limit that AB 43 were utilized. As you can see, a new speed limit on Mission Gate Drive between Mission Avenue and Villa Rancho Road, we were able to utilize AB 43 to set the speed limit at 25 miles per hour. The following 6 locations, we were able to maintain the existing speed limit. And in this table, you can see that we have lowered the existing speed limit for 8 different locations. Staff recommends that the City Council introduce an ordinance amending Article 14, Section 14.1 of the Oceanside Traffic Code by establishing various new speed limit on streets. I'm available for any question that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. 2 speakers, G.T. Wharton, followed by Barbara Collins.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Sanchez and council members. My name is G.T. Wharton. I'm the co-founder of Strong Towns Oceanside. First, I want to say thank you to city staff for doing this. We do think this is a step in the right direction to lower the speed limits. We also want to thank them for helping us with the curb bulb outs that were requested at Horn and Vista Way, part of our group's first team walk audit earlier this year. That was helped with support from Councilmember Figueroa, so thank you very much. I do want to say a little bit of why our group does not really think that speed limits lowering does very much, and I'll kind of explain that in detail. One is that we already know that drivers kind of drive the way the street is designed. That means that for something like Oceanside Boulevard, which is 6 lanes wide when it goes east of El Camino Real, you can go up to 100 miles an hour. In fact, we know that Oceanside PD has clocked people going 96 miles an hour. So if we were to lower the speed limit, for example, on that road, is that really going to stop people from going 96 miles an hour? Of course not. And that's because everyone in this room is probably a normal driver, right? You see the speed limit, you're looking in front of you. However, that's not the type of person that is responsible for the 172 traffic fatalities and injuries we had just in 2022 alone. You have to think about what is the dangerous driver doing in our city. They're on their phone, they're drunk, they're sleepy, they're not even looking at the road, they're unlicensed, for example. So when we lower the speed limit, does that actually make the streets safer? Because the type of drivers that are killing people on our streets, they don't care what the speed limit is, right? And so that's why for our group, Strong Towns, we would not ever waste time on lowering the speed limit. We would ask for what's the gold standard, which is traffic calming. Traffic calming is the physical barriers that slow down cars. That includes things like roundabouts, chicanes, raised crosswalks, and curb bulb outs. Now, I would say that Oceanside is number 3 out of 61 cities of its population for speed-related traffic fatalities, 172 people just in 2022 alone. And we have a backlog of 500 requests from our traffic calming because we didn't fund it for 10 years. And thank you to Deputy Mayor Joyce for helping advocate for getting money into the Measure X fund to actually restart the traffic calming program. But we would really like to see council come back and authorize city staff to do what's called quick build. Quick build is when you do traffic calming that doesn't require years and millions of dollars in traffic studies. Quick build is when you use readily available tools like plastic traffic delineators, potted plants, any type of bollard or physical barrier to slow down vehicles without having to go through this years-long song and dance of a traffic study, and we still are never going to get through that backlog unless we try to do quick build. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Collins?
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor Sanchez and council members, for the opportunity. And I'm here on behalf of the Sierra Club to say that we are happy with seeing some of the reductions in speed limit, although we do advocate for the city to adopt Vision Zero, which is a goal that we would have 0 traffic fatalities or serious injuries. I can't imagine why that wouldn't be a positive thing for Oceanside, to adopt that as an aspiration. And also, Vista has already adopted it. Carlsbad has adopted some variation of it. And it would also give us some tools similar to what GT was talking about as far as traffic calming is concerned, and taking the approach that we need to protect pedestrians and the bicyclists. We all know that there's an explosion of e-bikes and that a lot more kids are riding their bikes to school. And I think it's important for us to adopt Vision Zero for that reason too, because we need to protect them and everybody else that we want them to be out there on their bikes, and we want more people to be using these other modes of transportation and feel safe doing it. We should take a look at Oceanside Boulevard. That's going to be one of our safe and sustainable corridors. We're going to be putting, well, we'd like to see more dense housing there. We'd like to see people feeling safe as a pedestrian, but there are big stretches that have no sidewalks. So that's, I think, a good thing for our city to adopt, and I urge you to take a look at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that is it for speakers. This is something that the public has really requested, along with traffic calming, but definitely speeds, and other cities are moving towards reducing their speeds. So I think this is something that we do need to act on. I'm going to go ahead and move approval. Councilmember Figueroa?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to thank staff for prioritizing reducing the speed limit on the proposed streets. I look at certain streets like Rancho Del Oro between Oceanside Boulevard and Mesa Drive, and I know that the Rancho Del Oro and the Maricosa community that go to El Camino High School utilize Rancho Del Oro along with the Pacific View Charter School to get from one side of Oceanside Boulevard to the El Camino High School, so I really appreciate that. Los Arbolitos Boulevard also is utilized by Fusa elementary families. Shadow Ridge Drive has been requested for a very long time near the Ocean Hills community, and that is heavily used by high school students that go to our Rancho Buena Vista High School. And I also see Douglas Drive, North El Camino Real to North River Road, near several of our senior mobile home parks, and it's also utilized by the kids coming home from El Camino High School who travel via e-bike or public transportation to get back down to the valley. There are several streets that I was hoping to see on here that are not on here, and I do want to mention before I mention those streets, I do also want to echo what was just said in regards to having more traffic calming, physical quick builds, looking at effective and preventative measures that we can do to make our streets more walkable for our community, safer for our pedestrians and those on bikes. I think those are things that we need to continue to look into. I'm very thankful for staff for the build out and enhancing the crosswalk on Vista Way near Horn. But Vista Way continues to be a street that I know I have brought forth to staff, and it continues to be an issue and challenges. We continue to see accidents on Vista Way between Coast Highway and the 78. And these are folks, and it's very rare, even throughout our entire city, that we have a residential street that you have access to the freeway immediately. So you have folks coming off the 78, speeding to get to Coast Highway or vice versa. And I just want to share part of the email that I received, and just speaking closely with the residents, but this is what I received from the residents on Vista Way. We remain deeply concerned that the current 30-mile-per-hour speed limit does not adequately protect the vulnerable road users who rely on Vista Way every day. This corridor has experienced chronic speeding, high volumes of cut-through traffic, and significant exposure due to successful businesses at both ends of the roadway, along with an elementary school, which is South O, that generates daily pedestrian elementary school, which generates daily pedestrian activity from young children In families, residents witness multiple crashes weekly and at least one moderate to severe crash every other week. These outcomes reflect system design and operating speed, not individual driver behavior alone. Even small reductions in speed dramatically reduce injury severity. A pedestrian struck at 20 miles per hour faces an 18% risk of severe injury. At 30 miles per hour, that risk nearly triples to 50%. Increased speed also narrows the driver's usable field of vision, making it more difficult to detect crossing children, time to stop. While the 85 percentile method has historically guided speed setting, it has also produced a system that prioritizes vehicle movement over human life. As the state recognizes through AB 43, relying solely on driver self-regulation has not delivered safe outcomes. AB 43 finally gives jurisdictions the ability to lower speeds where pedestrians and bicycle activity is high, exactly the conditions that present on Vista Way. Lowering speed limits is one of the fastest, lowest cost, and most effective strategies to reduce serious injuries. Infrastructure improvements and enforcement cannot achieve their intended safety outcomes when posted speed limits remain misaligned with streets surrounding the land use and vulnerable users. For those reasons, the community is seeking that, in regards to West Vista Way, that an engineering traffic study be done for West Vista Way between Coast Highway and the 78 to see if we can reduce the speed limit down from 30 to 25 miles per hour. I get similar calls and emails regarding Thunder Drive as well. Thunder Drive is a street that connects College Boulevard to Vista Way, and it's also a road that folks use to get to Emerald, which they use to get to Emerald to get to the 78. And it's creating, I'm getting emails and videos from Ring cameras from both sides of the neighborhood of crashes taking place very frequently. We just had a really bad accident over the weekend where a car was speeding on Thunder, tried to avoid another car and crashed into someone's home right on Thunder in Galbar. And another location I would like staff to look at is College Boulevard between Thunder and Marvin. That is a part of College Boulevard that we have homes on both sides. And again, this is another area where we've had pedestrians hit crossing that street. And these are also streets that our youth cross to get to school, whether it's to Casita Elementary for Vista Unified, whether it's South O Elementary. We also have folks on bikes in our senior community. And so I'm very thankful for staff for doing this. I'm very thankful that staff has been working on this and is looking at creative ways within our budget to make our roads safer, because staff, and I really appreciate staff for all the meetings we've had in regards to just making our streets more walkable. But I just ask that we take a deeper look into Thunder between College and Vista Way between Coast Highway and the 78, and College Boulevard between Thunder and Marvin. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Is that a second?
That is a second.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Joyce?
Thanks, Steph. This is exciting. I'm not bringing forward a list of other proposals. I will send that offline because there are lots of them, including Mesa Drive from El Camino.
Along with a couple of hundred others on the list that we already have, yeah.
Yeah. What I would add, I do have a question for staff about something that is germane. The Safe Streets for All planning grant, which we were awarded, I thought it was supposed to start in November. I was just trying to, the last time I had an update, we were able to start collecting feedback soon. So I'm just trying to get an update on that because it's relevant to our ability to plan future projects.
Deputy Mayor Joyce and Honorable Mayor Sanchez and council members, my name is Tila Cotter, City Traffic Engineer. That actually, we just currently received proposals because we went out for an RFP to get proposals for the Safe Streets for All action plan, safety action plan, and also for combined with the Caltrans grant for the action transportation plan. So we combined those two under one proposal and, or under one scope, there are two scopes under one proposal, sorry. And we just received those. We're evaluating. We're hoping to come to council to award a contract to a consultant by the end of January.
Okay.
And then once we have that, then we can start the process of actually addressing the safety action plan and the action transportation plan.
And so these are similar to Vision Zero. They're not called Vision Zero, but it's a
It's to
citywide
aim-
safe streets for all planning grant, just so folks are aware. And it will have a significant component of public outreach involved.
Yes, definitely.
So get your list ready, everybody.
Oh, standing room only, I'm sure.
It's important and it saves lives. So I do appreciate everybody's passion about it.
Thank you, Ms. Borrego.
Honorable Mayor and council members, I just wanted to also address, the ever-growing list of streets that we have out there for potential traffic improvements. And certainly we've taken note of Councilmember Figueroa's list here. As I've mentioned recently on this dais here, we have recently engaged the services of a consultant who we will soon start working with to interview council members about our CIP list. And through that process, we are going to, we plan on coming to some consensus in terms of our ever-growing CIP list, because we, of course, have limited funding. So I would encourage the council members, if they do have streets or particular improvements that they would like to see, that those recommendations be voiced through that process. And when we all come back together and convene, we can kind of sort through that list and prioritize those projects, because there is a long list of CIP projects, including many traffic calming projects that are out there on the horizon, and several streets that have been identified by members of the community that they'd like to see something done.
Thank you. Councilmember Robinson?
Thank you, and I'm going to ask our traffic engineer a question, which will give our police chief a second to come down, because I'm going to ask him a question. So they talked about, and I'm not going to add any streets to this, but I think it's important, because I kind of agree with Mr. Wharton on some things he said, but Oceanside Boulevard, we know it's a very broad, fast-moving street. When you think of traffic calming that could be done on a street of that caliber, what kind of things could or can we do? I mean, it's possible. Not that we would do. I'm not just...
Councilmember Robinson.
Because I don't think there's much.
In short, no, there is not much. It would be more enforcement done by OPD.
And how about that? Look who's here.
On a cue.
And the reason I did that is because if you're a speeder and you're ignoring a 40-mile-an-hour sign, doing 50 or 60, whatever you're going to do, you're probably going to ignore a 30-mile-an-hour sign. The signs are good for those of us who obey the laws, who stop at stop signs, who look at yield when we're supposed to, and all those things. But it really, I think what will make a difference is enforcement. And I brought the chief up here just because I think it's important. I get emails, we all probably do, about why isn't OPD doing this? Why isn't it on traffic? And can you just explain briefly, chief, your traffic enforcement, what you currently have?
Sure. Councilmember Robinson, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. Torino Valdivinos, Chief of Police. So we currently only have 5 motor officers, and these are the officers who are directly responsible for enforcing traffic-related issues. Our regular officers, their primary duty is to answer the radio. So they can enforce traffic, but that's not their primary duty. So we don't depend on them, because the radio it varies, right? What day to day. But our traffic enforcement officers, our motor officers, they're the ones who can address these issues. We only have 5 of those. We have close to 200 traffic-related complaints in our city. I literally feel like every street in our city has a traffic complaint attached to it. In addition, the gentleman earlier mentioned the traffic-related fatalities that we have here in our city. Last year we had 17. This year we have at least 5, with a couple that are pending, which we reduced because I have directed our motor officers to focus on those high casualty locations and causes of traffic collisions. So it's very frustrating, it's very difficult for us to be at every street, monitoring every stop sign, every speed limit, every light. It's nearly impossible for us to do that.
Thanks, Chief. I just wanted people to hear it from you that there are pretty severe limitations to what you can currently do. And it'll be up to us to work on that later next year, I guess. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Joyce.
Just briefly, not to get into a design conversation really quickly, but long, straight sight lines, wide lanes, wide roads, lack of trees, lack of edge, that makes people go faster. So there are things that we can do, they're expensive and they take time.
Right, doing that means cutting it down to one lane each way. I don't think anyone wants that. But anyway, we do have a 6 o'clock. Did you want to make some additional comments?
Yes, please.
Ms. Cotter?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members. My awesome coworker reminded me of something because I was brain farting. I apologize. But there are such things as, you said, the medians. And I know that when we can, especially along Oceanside Boulevard between El Camino and RDO with the El Corazon project, whenever we get a developer in, we would like to try to get a raised median in. So that's one item that could help. Another one is radar feedback signs on these large arterial streets, which we have been getting in slowly. So I think there's 2 more going in on Oceanside Boulevard. And we work with OPD on these and getting their feedback on where they would find the most benefit of having them installed. So slowly we've been addressing that when we can on arterial streets.
All right, thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Mr. Burke, please title the ordinance.
Thank you. This is the first reading and introduction of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside, amending Article 14, Sections 14 and 14.1 of the Oceanside Traffic Code by the addition and changes of various subsections to establish speed limits on those streets.
Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. It is actually past the 6 o'clock time, certain for public hearing items, and we do have one public hearing, and that is item number 18. Staff recommends City Council, number 1, adopt a resolution adopting the final mitigated negative declaration and associated mitigation monitoring and reporting program for the Oceanside Garrison Street planned development. Number 2, adopt a resolution approving general plan amendment to change the land use designation of approximately 7 acres from civic institutional to medium density C residential. Number 3, introduce an ordinance for zone amendment to change the zoning designation of approximately 7 acres from public, semi-public to planned development. 4, adopt a resolution approving tentative map, development plan, and density bonus to allow for the construction of a 140-unit residential development with 14 units reserved for moderate-income households at 333 Garrison Street. I'd like to go ahead and open this public hearing and request disclosure from council members regarding constituent contacts and correspondence.
Staff, the applicant, and public.
Staff, applicant, and public.
Same.
Our staff, I met with the applicant developer, and I was on the school board originally when this property came forward.
Staff, applicant, and emails from the public.
Mr. Borrego?
Yeah, I just wanted to take a brief opportunity to congratulate Mr. Thompson on his recent promotion to senior planner, which was announced today, so thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, sincerely. And I'll get right into it. Good evening. Sorry.
Not done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see. Mr. Navarro, do we have any correspondence and/or petitions?
The only correspondence we received was from the Friends of Loma Alta Creek, which was distributed to council prior to the meeting.
Thank you. Now we begin with a presentation by Dane Thompson, our new planning director.
Senior planner.
Senior planning, senior planning.
That would've
Oh,
been
I'm really
nice.
going off. Sorry about that.
Getting my hopes up here.
Senior planner. Sorry about that.
Thank you. All good, all good. Good evening.
Well, it's his, goal, right?
No, I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. I'm here tonight to present the Oceanside Garrison Street Plan Development Project. Tonight, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution adopting the final MND and approving the project and all of its components as it's proposed. The project site is an 8.3 acre site that is the former E.G. Garrison Elementary School, which closed in 2019 due to declining enrollment and excessive maintenance costs. Those excessive maintenance costs partially stemmed from sinkholes on the property, which were caused by a failed storm drain. The site is in the Loma Alta neighborhood and surrounded by residential land uses on all sides. It has a civic, institutional, and medium-density C residential land use designation and is zoned public, semi-public, and medium-density C residential. The project includes 5 components: a general plan amendment to change the land use designation from civic, institutional to medium-density C residential, a zone amendment to change the zoning designation from public, semi-public, and medium-density C residential to planned development, a tentative map to allow for individual ownership of the units, a development plan to construct 140 townhomes in accordance with the planned development or PD plan, and a density bonus request to reserve 10% of the units throughout the project for moderate income households. 1.3 acres of the site is currently designated medium density C residential. The other 7 acres is designated civic institutional. The proposed general plan amendment would change that to be completely medium density C residential. The MDCR land use designation allows a maximum density of 20.9 dwelling units an acre. As proposed, the project would come in at 16.9 units an acre. 1.3 acres of the site is zoned medium density C residential, and the other 7 acres are zoned public, semi-public. As proposed, the entire site would be governed by the planned development text. Proposed at 16.9 dwelling units an acre, this is within the range found from the surrounding multifamily projects, which range from 14 dwelling units an acre to 21. The Oceanside Garrison Street Plan Development Plan complies with the general plan and the zoning ordinance, as it would provide for quality urban design and justifies any deviations from the RMC development standards. The development plan proposes 140 townhomes in 22 buildings, each which range from 4 to 8 units per structure. At the entrance of the project, there is a 10,900 square foot park area, which would be open to the public, but privately maintained. 38 guest parking spaces would be provided along the private street throughout the development, and the private road would be provided with a secondary means of emergency access, which would be normally gated. A walking path and dog run is also provided in the rear of the project site for the resident. All proposed structures would be 3-story structures with a maximum height of 36 feet. 7 floor plans are proposed for the project, ranging from 1,400 to 2,100 square feet in size and ranging from 2 to 4 bedrooms. Each unit would come equipped with a 2-car garage with a handful in a tandem configuration. All units would have private open space via a private balcony, and the entire development would be all electric. 2 color palettes are proposed, as you can see on the screen. both in a contemporary style with significant facade articulation, flat roofs but no rooftop decks, and a mixture of siding and stucco. Landscaping is proposed throughout the project, along the perimeter between the buildings, along the private road, and along the amenity areas. The project would have a 17.9% proposed tree canopy coverage and 39.3% proposed permeable surface area. 0.039 acres of coastal sage scrub would be impacted with this project, which would have to be mitigated to a 3-to-1 ratio on site. As I said before, the 10,900 square foot space at the entrance to the project site would be open to the public, but privately maintained. This would include a lawn area, a pot lot, recreational area, and seating, as well as some bike racks. And 14 of the units in the development would be reserved for moderate income households. That reservation qualifies the project for a 5% density bonus, which has been elected to not be utilized by the developer. Staff has found the project to be consistent with the general plan in that it is attractively designed, compatible with surrounding land uses, would result in a positive net fiscal impact, and would have on-site renewable energy generation. The project also proposes a range of household sizes and a range of price points, with those 14 deed-restricted moderate income units as well. The project is compliant with the zoning ordinance and the standards for planned developments. The project is proposing to comply with all RMC development standards, with the exception of garage configuration on some of the units and alley setbacks. A mitigated negative declaration has been prepared for this project, identifying potential impacts to biological resources, cultural resources, geology and soils, and tribal cultural resources. All potential impacts have been or would be mitigated to less than significant level through design features and/or mitigation measures. To reiterate, the sinkholes on the site were not caused by underlying soil stability issues, but by a failed storm drain system. During the MND public review period, staff have received 4 comments from the public. The project has complied with the city's enhanced notification program. To date, they have conducted 2 community outreach meetings, one in November of 2024, for which around 10 people attended, the other in April of 25, for which around 5 people attended. The primary concerns that we heard from the community were soil stability issues, traffic. Staff will point out that the projected traffic for the project would be within the range that was generated by the former elementary school use. On August 25th, 2025, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend adoption of the MND and approval of the project. The main concerns we heard from the community at that public hearing were including more native plants in the plant palette and having the habitat mitigation off-site instead of on-site, and also including bird-friendly design features in the project design, and that the project could set a precedence for the loss and conversion of civic land. Planning Commission suggested that the applicant add more native species to the plant palette and provide the habitat mitigation off-site if possible. The city has found that that would be infeasible, as we do not have a formal mechanism for off-site mitigation on city-owned property at this time. Following that meeting, a handful of modifications have been made to the project. Per the Planning Commission suggestions, the applicant has added more native species to the plant palette, and per the community concerns, the applicant has agreed to voluntary transportation demand management education for all new homeowners. Staff has also reinforced specific conditions of approval regarding HOA maintenance of habitat on site and the park area being open to the public in perpetuity. The applicant has also offered to contribute $7,500 towards the construction of Sharrows on Garrison Street, and staff will include a condition of approval in the resolution to that effect. With that, staff recommends that the City Council take these 4 following actions and approve the project as proposed. That concludes my presentation. I'll be available for questions, and the applicant will have a short presentation.
Thank you very much. The applicant now gets up to 20 minutes. Is Michael here? Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, first of all, good evening, Honorable Mayor and other council members here in City of Oceanside. I'm privileged to be here tonight. My name's Gordon Jones. I'm the Regional VP of the True Life Companies, who's a developer and applicant. We've been working on this project, as you may be aware, for several years now, and just honored to finally have the privilege to be before you tonight after a lot of work. Michael, who has kind of been the face and voice of our project, is ill this week, so he's been out a couple days. So you asked if he was here. He just couldn't make it. Believe me, he absolutely wanted.
I'm sure he wanted to be here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But I just wanted to first of all thank and congratulate Dane for all of his help, and congratulations on your promotion. That's well deserved. And of course, the rest of the team on the staff here has just been terrific, Darlene, and I mean the whole staff, because as you know, it's quite a process getting to this point. I'll be super quick because to tell you the truth, Dane really did a fantastic job of highlighting most of the things I was going to say, and I don't want to be too redundant and say things over and over again, but I would just like to click to, here we are. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Sharon, who's on our team also. This just is a list of projects we're working on, the True Life Companies. I run the SoCal division for our company, and we specialize in infill, kind of medium density, attainable housing as our primary focus of business, all for sale. We're not in the income property business. We're in the home development and home sale business. And so if you look, a lot of these projects, and really it's almost half of them are this same type of home, the 3-story townhome, which we have found to be a terrific opportunity for getting into markets that can be expensive, and all the coastal markets are pretty expensive. So it's a great lifestyle. The 3-story townhome offers a really just a great way to live. If you don't mind going up a few extra steps, you get all that living space on the middle floor and the sleeping on the 3rd floor up. And it's just really has been successful throughout the state of California. So we focus a lot on that kind of development. This slide just simply shows what Dane highlighted, and that is we think this is an absolutely terrific transition use. As you go from the rental apartments of Garrison Street to the dead end, it's just what we think is a perfect enclave for this townhome community, which will allow folks to buy homes and eventually, hopefully, move up one day to a nice single-family home in Oceanside. But it's a great, attainable product that we're excited to present there. This slide shows our walkability, bus stops, and within a 15-minute walk to the current and future amenities that are offered and activities at El Corazon. It's just really going to be, especially as we look down the road, it's going to be a terrific place to live. Our next slide is just kind of a screenshot of our landscape plan. Dane called out some of the amenities, but I will mention there's a pet park internal to the community, kind of up in that western, kind of southwest corner. You can see that the bulb out, that's an area for pets, to be walked. And then the frontage is landscaped with a lot of the different species. We've talked about adding the native species as well to be placed in the appropriate places. We preserve that slope. We have set back off of the slope to preserve the slope. That's where the coastal sage was, is kind of up on that slope. And so that's the area that we'll be mitigating with, or into, I should say, and then also preserving the little bit that is there. But the highlight is clearly the park at the entrance, mainly because of its location. It's going to be open to the public, so it can be utilized easily by the residents in the apartments to the south. So it's a privately maintained and built and funded, but it will be open to the public. That'll be in the CC&Rs. There'll be signage placed on the park property to make sure the public is aware of that. The next slide just kind of gives the details that we meet all of our parking and open space requirements. A couple of pretty pictures, if you will. I feel like these renderings are important. Some people may think, oh, you're just trying to paint a picture, but this is truly a rendering of what this project will look like and how it relates to the single-family community that's upslope to the west from us. You can see this is the park entrance there. Our next slide, you get a real sense of our kind of a modern coastal look of the architecture. We think that, the demographic typically that's buying our townhomes, this is a super attractive, elevation to them. A couple other shots, I just wanted to show, if you're at the south end of the property, kind of on that slope looking to the north, this is what you would see. This is the natural area there where it's all the little bushes in the front, and then you can see the fencing, and then the other side of the fencing is the improved landscaping of the open space, pet park, et cetera. The last of the renderings is just to show that kind of that relationship to the single-family area. It's quite a bit above us, so they'll be looking down on our community. We talked about the community outreach, couple of meetings, very well advertised, not a lot of turnout. I think that's a function of, I believe for the most part, the public agreed with what we were wanting to do. Secondly, I think, some of the people were around in the apartments. They're not as inclined to come out. But, we didn't really get very many visitors from the neighborhood to the west. And, they're pretty buffered from us being well above us. The community benefits, there's a whole list of them that we feel like are true benefits. These are some of the, kind of the more significant, other than just providing an excellent, use for this property with attainably priced for-sale housing, which, helps the arena numbers, as was mentioned. We do have a pretty interesting affordable home offering, and I'm going to let Dave just speak for a couple minutes when I'm finished here about that, because you should hear the detail on it, because it's a little more of a hybrid approach. It's certainly not just paying a fee, that's for sure. And, I know part of the request, I was wondering, it did say density bonus, but because we're doing this, the construction on site and paying the fee, but we're not asking for any waivers or concessions under density bonus law. I wanted to point that out. We're cooperating with the city and building that access road back to the lift station. It looks like the city will build that before we develop, so we'll be simply paying our 1/2 share to the city. It works either way, though. Either one of us can build it first. I just believe the city will get there. We'll get there first. We also agreed to pay for half of a looped off-site water line that really need to be replaced. It's in pretty bad shape, and so that'll be a real benefit to the overall water infrastructure to the community. We talked about the park and of course improving the site where the school's been closed since 2019. I didn't know Dane was going to do it, but he did a great job. If you recall, we were on the agenda several weeks ago, and we got a letter. We've been communicating with the Friends of Calaveras and other members of the community that have been engaging with us, and we did hear from them right before our meeting with some concerns, some additional things they didn't feel like were appropriately addressed. So we spent a couple of different meetings and a lot of back and forth with emails trying to answer some of those concerns. And I really feel like we have. We feel like we've done a really good job of resolving community concerns, and just there's some terrific suggestions, and a lot of it costs a little bit of money, not a ton of money, to be frank, but at the same time there were things that I thought were really good suggestions for the community and where a future community needs to go. So the traffic demand management plan, all the additional HOA requirements, the additional native plantings, more kind of definitive CC&Rs around some of the issues and protecting some of the conservation easement areas. So all those things were not in the prior conditions of approval, but are now, several of them are now conditions of approval. And so we've come back tonight to, now present this request before you, feeling like we've done a good job of answering what the community has been asking for. And I just want to, before we open it up for Q&A, because our team is here, our environmental consultant, our land planning and entitlement consultants here with us, but I did want to let Dave Stern, who's with True Life also, he's our managing director for SoCal, and very, very experienced in San Diego County. I just wanted him to share a few words about our affordable housing program, if I could. I still have time.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
You've got 9 minutes left.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Mayor Sanchez, council members. I think I can do this in less than 9 minutes. I wanted to talk a little bit about our affordable housing program, because workforce housing has been a personal priority to me going back to my days as BIA chairman, and it's a big part of what we at the True Life companies do. We work with a lot of affordable housing developers. In this case, when our application was deemed complete, the city had a 10% requirement, meaning that you have to pay in lieu fees or build 10% of the units as affordable income restricted housing. When that changed to 15%, we revised our program to, at that time, we were planning to pay in lieu fees for the 15%. However, subsequent to that, due to many meetings with the neighborhood, with stakeholders, city staff, officials, we decided that we would implement a hybrid program where we would build 10% of the units equal to our original requirement as moderate income units, and we would pay in lieu fees for the remaining 5% requirement. And why this mix? Well, what we really like about it is that it really addresses all the different income levels that are in need of assistance with housing. For instance, the moderate income unit, they will be available for people earning between 80% and 120% of AMI, which is area median income. And these folks can readily qualify for mortgages and take advantage of home ownership, which is great, and build equity in those homes. For those below that, we are going to pay 5% of our, of the requirement into the city's housing program. And those fees, they go to assist tax credit developers who build largely rental housing. They use state tax credits, they use federal tax credits, and of course they use bonds. These days, those programs are pretty constrained. So oftentimes a local municipality will step in and provide what's known as gap financing. And in addition to the low-income units, they often include a certain degree of very low-income units, which is for people earning between 30% and 50% AMI. So it's really a wonderful way where our project can help contribute to all the different income levels. Gordon mentioned, the market rate units are fairly attainable, but we all know there's a gap between that and what many people can afford. So this is our way of contributing towards all that. And lastly, I'll say on the for sale units that the way that those work is that we will send a list of buyers that we have to the city housing department. They will qualify those buyers to make sure they are eligible. Once they're qualified, the builder developer is responsible for getting them closed and into a home. Those homes typically carry a 45-year deed restriction, and the way that resales are dealt with is depending upon if that resident needs to move as a change of job or family circumstance, depending on what year he sells his home in, there is a sliding second, and a percentage of that equity goes to them, and a percentage goes back to the city to put back in the housing fund, depending on how many years that resident has been in that home. So that's it in a nutshell, and with that, we thank you again and reiterate that we're here to answer your question.
Thank you very much. This is the time for the public to speak on this item. You did not actually have to sign up to speak, but I understand 3 people have. After they speak, I will ask if anyone else wishes to address the council on this item. Mr. Knott, followed by Barbara Collins, followed by Diane Nygaard.
Mayor, council members, Jimmy Knott, 127 Sherry Lane. This is in an area that is a predominantly lower income community if you look at the general population. And I've had a chance to talk to some of the people within the community. And they're afraid, a lot of the people I talked with, about ghettoization, is if this is not really supported over the years with maintenance and the city involvement into the community. And that also includes traffic and looking forward ahead. And this is number 2 concern. Number 2 concern is, are we looking at the impact of not just this one development, but all the developments and future developments that are being planned, and how that this was going to be impacting the traffic on Oceanside Boulevard. We really, if we look at it right now, it's horrific. If you look at it, most of the time during the hours of the day, the traffic is, you're backed up right at that corner. And I have to say, like you have to wait and wait and wait. But years ago, you could just speed right through it. It's now getting to the point that we need to look at refining the way our traffic is monitored and the way it's built. And how you do it is by looking at the way you bill and looking at that. And I think that people need to start looking at it. And this is where you start looking at gridlock. And like I said, the people's concern about ghettoization. And it's a nasty, dirty word that people don't like. But after about 20, 30 years of occupation, what happens is that there's a natural downgrade in communities without that support. Please put into some of the CUPs that are involved with this the support the community needs to keep up with standards, and also consider, very importantly, low income and senior occupations into the homes. I didn't hear much of that being said tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Collins, followed by Ms. Nygaard.
Thank you. Good evening again. My name is Barbara Collins. I don't think I said that last time. I'm an Oceanside resident, and I am here on behalf of the Sierra Club. We want to speak in favor of making sure that the revised conditions of approval are included as part of this package. There is coastal sage scrub that's going to be preserved as habitat for California gnatcatchers. And so it's critical to protect these birds and others from the effects of the development that can harm them. And that includes restricting access from people and pets and the light spillover. Also educating residents about how they should, about responsible pet ownership, basically. It's estimated that cats kill 4 billion birds annually in this country. That's billion with a B. So keeping our cats in it, doing these sorts of responsible pet ownership and things like keeping our cats in at night. There's a collar that costs $15 that's very effective. So we want to urge you to make sure that the revised conditions of approval are included. And those are my comments on this project. There's a lot of things that we like about the project. It's all electric. They're going to do a voluntary TDM. So they've been the developers have been very open to discussions of things that could improve it and make it more sustainable. And I was going to just circle back to the Oceanside Boulevard discussion and how you could reduce the speeds on that. And I think something that was mentioned.
You have to stay on topic, please.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, but there are some ways you can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Nygaard?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Diane Nygaard, representing Preserve Talavera. We think this is the first density bonus project in this community where the developer asked for no concessions and no waivers. Hallelujah. Clearly, if one developer can do that and still make a profit, others can also. We very much appreciate this is an all-electric project and complies with our climate action plan. Kudos to them for that also. And we appreciate their willingness to work with us, make the changes that make this project a better fit for our community. But tonight it's up to you. We need you to approve the revised resolution that incorporates those changes. But we also need you to raise the bar on this and other projects. Our natural lands and waters are part of the legacy of this community. They benefit all of us, and it takes all of us working together to protect them. When our city does not address the edge effects of development on sensitive habitat until the day before the final hearing, they're not doing their job. This is now the 6th residential project where we have successfully worked with developers to include a transportation demand management plan, a plan designed to reduce auto trips and the roadway congestion, air pollution, and greenhouse gases that come with those cars. We need other developers to voluntarily do the same until the new cap is adopted, and hopefully they'll all have to. We need to do a better job addressing alternative transportation. This project is along a smart growth corridor where we're supposed to provide transportation choices to the thousands of new residents that will be living there. But the local transportation study for this project and many others failed to comply with the ITE guide staff give developers. That guide says they're supposed to consider opportunity to improve connectivity, frequency of service, and level of comfort. Critical improvements that make smart growth work. Some of those improvements would be done by the developer, many of them up to our city. Thank you for the Sharrows on Garrison Street and for reaching out to NCTD. But I'm going to again repeat the concerns about unsafe pedestrian crossings at El Camino and Oceanside Boulevard. Those really need to be addressed now. So we urge you to 1, adopt a revised resolution. 2, direct staff to ask developers to voluntarily do a TDM plan. 3, direct staff to comply with the ITE guide for alternative transportation. And finally, direct staff to come with the pedestrian improvements to the Oceanside Boulevard El Camino Riel intersection. With those 4 simple actions, they'll improve this project, future projects, the function of the smart growth corridor, and our entire community. And how great is that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there anyone else, does anyone else wish to address this item? Please rise, approach the podium. You have up to 3 minutes. I see no one rising. I'm going to go ahead and close this part of the hearing. And did staff want to address anything that was raised? I think there was a request to adopt the modified.
Honorable Mayor, a few members brought up the revised conditions of approval that was distributed to the council, I
And it's
believe
in there.
yesterday. All those conditions of approval are in there.
All right, thank you.
Except for that one on the $7,500 that would be gifted by the developer for reimbursement of Sharrows.
Right, thank you. Councilmember Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to ask that question. I have a question. I don't know if it's for the applicant or staff, but since the school district sold them the property, why aren't they doing 25% affordable?
Councilmember Weiss, if you're referring to the Surplus Land Act,
Yes.
the elementary school exempted themselves from that.
Oh, okay.
Which they can do.
They can.
Thank you. With that, I will, I like the project. I'll move approval of staff recommendation with the modified conditions that were distributed yesterday.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and second. Deputy Mayor Joyce.
Really briefly.
Oh, did you want to speak? I'm sorry.
The additional Sharrows condition of approval that was referenced in the slide.
Right. Deputy Mayor Joyce.
Okay. I just want to say thanks to staff for working on this project. The added home ownership opportunities is going to be a huge boon to the District 1 community. We are always seeing, we see a lot of apartments, especially in District 1. So it's good to see the ability for families to get into homes. There's 14 that are restricted income, which is really important as well. And then we have the in lieu fees, which could go to future use within the city. I also love that it's all electric. And when they first walked in the door, I was so excited because the park, there is like, yes, it was very sad and when the school closed. I'm very happy to note that the most public-facing part of the property is now going to be a park for children of that community, and that's a really big deal. So I'm glad that that is part of this project. We do not see that in a lot of projects, and it was there from the very beginning. So I'm very happy to see a lot of the positive direction and development. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to thank the developer, the applicant, for taking the time to address all the issues that were raised. This was to be heard on October 1st, and rather than say no, you asked for time to address those. That's very rare, and I do appreciate that you did that. To me, it looks like you really do care about this project and really wanted to get broad support from the city, from the city staff, and from the public. And this is really, as has been stated, so unusual as we deal with these state mandates that are extremely difficult in terms of the impacts to our existing community. So I really thank you so much for doing that. I wanted Mr. Torres to be here so that I can say that to him, personally as well. I'm sure you'll let him know. For me, the concerns I had addressed right away, and it's refreshing to say, yeah, we can do that. Oh, that's a good idea. So that was, and then as to the doing on-site affordable as well as the in lieu fees, yes, we appreciate that. In order to be able to encourage 100% affordable projects, we do need to have to help with gap funding. And right now, our levels are really low because redevelopment had helped us to be able to collect those kind of fees to be able to do these 100% projects. And, now that since redevelopment was chopped by the governor. You know, it's been really tough to keep up with building affordable units. So thank you. Oh, Councilmember Figueroa?
Thank you. One quick question. For all of the landscape that was shown on the property, is that all going to be maintained by the HOA? So even what was shown to the north side behind, just everything that was shown on the plans, everything's going to be maintained by the HOA?
Yes, all of the improved landscaped areas, the slope will be left natural.
Okay.
Yeah, as it is now.
Is the city responsible for the slope?
It's actually owned by the HOA for the neighborhood to the west.
Arbor Hills condos?
No, the single-family neighborhood.
Okay, got it. And I also want to, and I mentioned this in our first conversation when I was presented with the project, in regards to the park, the open space, and how important that was. Most of our elementary schools throughout our community were used as parks at one point or another. And this is I was hoping that this would have happened with the Pacifica property where we would have had some open space, and to see that this was done at Garrison, I really appreciated that. And I mentioned that to the developers from the very beginning. I think that's just awesome. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just, for the record, I know Michael is watching video,
Okay,
so
good.
he can, I'm sure he heard.
Okay, thank you. All right, there is a motion and a second to adopt the resolutions and introduce the ordinance. Mr. Burke, please title the ordinance.
Thank you. This is, among the other actions, the first reading and introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside, amending the zoning designation for real property located at 333 Garrison Street, APN 162-020-2600, from public, semi-public to planned development, the Garrison Zone Amendment, ZA 240001.
Thank you, please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. I'm going to quickly go to adoption of ordinances. We do have item number 20, which is staff recommends the city council adopt an ordinance amending chapter 32B of the city code, adoption of an ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 32D of the city code.
Move adoption.
Okay, there's a motion and second. Please vote.
Actually,
Oh, please title.
thank you. And single vote, but there are two ordinances here. So this is the second reading and adoption of first an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside amending Chapter 32B of the Oceanside City Code, as well as an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside repealing and replacing Chapter 32D of the Oceanside City Code.
One vote.
One vote.
Okay, please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 21 is staff recommends City Council and the Community Development Commission adopt an ordinance for zone amendment to change existing zoning designations from downtown district, public transportation railroad, and high-density residential, public utility and transportation, office professional, coastal, and medium-density residential, coastal R3 to specific plan, and consideration of the OTC specific plan.
We do have public on this item.
All right, we have, how many speakers?
Just one.
Okay, Mr. Knott?
Yeah.
Again, Mayor, council members, I would urge you all to think into the background of any building in that area about traffic. The city has been, there has been many, many times, and I don't think that the project sufficiently addressed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Move adoption.
There's a motion for adoption and a second. Please vote. Oh, please title. Sorry.
That's okay.
Title.
This again is the second read and adoption of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending the zoning designations for certain real property located at 235 South Tremont Street, a number of APNs related there, to change the existing zoning designations from downtown district, public transportation and railroad, and high-density residential, public utility, transportation, office professional, and medium density, to specific plan for the Oceanside Transit Center, Zone Amendment RZA 220001.
And this is one vote, correct? All right, please vote.
Motion approved, 4-1. Sanchez, no.
Thank you. Item 19 is communications from the public regarding items not on this agenda. We have 13 speakers plus one organized presentation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so 13 speakers plus one organized presentation. The organized presentation is 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and ask that for the 13 speakers that they be at 2 minutes each. 2 minutes each. So do you want to go ahead and call the first?
Our first group is Mikhail Medeo. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Michael Modello.
Oh, Michael Medeo, sorry.
Everybody gets it wrong.
Yeah. And part of her group are Dave and Dee Keck. Dave Keck is over there. Dee Keck is right there. And Mary is right there. So all members are present.
Thank you, and you need to stay present for the entire 10 minutes. So, Mr. Modello?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Sanchez, Deputy Mayor Joyce, and council members. Thanks for the opportunity to speak once again. Like Groundhog Day, I'm going to speak about the Eddie Jones project. Sorry, but I do have some new information, so I'm not going to rehash old stuff, so at least it'll be something different. At the very heart of this project, from the very, very beginning, 3.5 years ago, the heart of the matter was the scale of this project. And I think that's been discussed before, concerns by both Mayor Sanchez and Deputy Mayor Joyce, who came on as a council member for my district right when this whole thing was happening, about the loopholes in the conditional use permits and how, yes, the project was reduced, but it's quite easy with approval of council here to increase right back up to the EIR of 114. I just want to say that because that initially was 99% of the issue that really anybody that had a problem with the project, it was related to that. That's not what I'm going to speak about tonight, though, because tonight we have some new information, and what started as a project about scale became something different. And I think it has some long-lasting implications for the reputation, unfortunately, of the council, of the city, and for the growth of Oceanside, and that's integrity. And we should expect our elected officials who we vote for to make decisions in the best interest of the community, but also in accordance with the city's own code of ethics, which is available publicly on the website. I won't get too much into the weeds on that. But what I'd like to do is fill in some of the gaps from the flip vote, which occurred on August 6th, where they voted, Council Member Figueroa had new information, and he's allowed to, and changed his mind and voted for the developer, and he was the tie-breaking vote. This is not in any way to disparage Council Member Figueroa in any way, because I will say, of all the council members, I had an idea, an inkling of what was going to happen for the vote of Mr. Robinson and Mr. Weiss, because I've been coming to these things for 3.5 years, and for the most part, there's not a development that they don't like, unless it's 2.1 miles from one of their houses, but that's a different story. So my point is just this. I am aware of Mr. Figueroa's background. He was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He achieved great things in the community, and he did a lot for at-youth risk as a mentor. And that's really huge and should be commended. So this doesn't take away from that. I think it's unfortunate that what occurred, it had good intentions, I think, but the means don't justify the ends. And that's a little bit what I'd like to talk about. At the very beginning, this project should not have passed Planning Commission. They're appointed, not elected by the people, so I won't take too much time on that. But this project was kind of, all the reductions that happened with the truck bays were made on the fly. And Mayor Sanchez alluded to this in the May 21st meeting when the city won the appeal against the developer. So it really didn't come from the goodness of the heart of the developer, him wanting to approve the project like other developers have tried to do. The last time I spoke about this was on August 20th. And after the flip vote, everybody was pretty shocked, got a lot of comments. What's going on? Something's kind of weird, but we really didn't know what happened. We have information now from a public records request that kind of fills in those gaps, which is what I'm going to show here. So the vote for against the developer occurred on May 21st, and it was the best night of sleep that I've had in 3.5 years. And I was really proud of Councilman Figueroa at the time, because it's difficult to go up against people who are very influential. I'll just put it that way. And I did say this on August 20th, but when he was running as a council member, his candidate statement on October of 2024 said, "I believe Oceanside is developing too rapidly without sufficient consideration of whether our infrastructure can support this level of growth. While growth can be beneficial, it must be smart growth that assesses roads, safe routes to school, traffic calming, utilities, and public services before further expansion." And he also noted, importantly, residents should have a voice in decisions affecting their neighborhoods and the pace of development. And I couldn't agree more. And so when he voted against this project, saying that at the time he was voting against it because it was severely impacting a community in a way that he's been hearing about since he's been on council, hundreds of emails, and he tried to be as objective as possible. He also said, "I don't think, based off everything I'm hearing, that there's benefit that would outweigh moving forward with the project." So we thought it was done. It's like a rash that came back. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this whole thing. But it's back, and here's what we gleaned from the public records request. There's a series of text messages, and the text messages are from Mr. Figueroa and two people. One is the developer spokeswoman, Arlene Tendick, and the other is the LIUNA Local 89. Yes, Kevin Barrios, he's the Local 89, LIUNA Local 89 Policy and Community Engagement Director. For those that aren't aware, LIUNA 89 has a PLA, a project labor agreement with the developer. And I know that Mr. Figueroa rightly was worried about, keeping jobs in Oceanside. And I think that was a selling point for him. And I don't want to speak for him. But when Councilmember Weiss on 521 spoke with the developer said, yes, they have a project labor agreement. Of the 1,200 temporary jobs, 400 will be Oceanside residents. So that's only a third of the people for this project temporarily. We don't know what's going to happen after that, but it's not exactly a slam dunk. So if you look at the dates, that's what's critical here. The first message comes May 25th, which was 3 days after the vote, and it comes from the LIUNA Local 89 representative talking about, let me know if you'd like to meet. I still don't fully understand what happened that night, but I hear there might be a path for the project still. Not sure if you want to hear about it. They go back and forth. They're going to get some coffee. So that's the first one. The second one, I'll just, for consistency, stay with Mr. Barrios. It says, can you text me the fields that are getting lights in the long run? Mr. Figueroa, Melba Bishop Park is already approved for walkway lights throughout the park. One of the first things I pushed for when I got to council. Eddie Jones would fund lights at the skate park and remaining pickleball courts at Melba Bishop in the Deep Valley community. Eddie Jones will also fund lights at Prince Skate Park next to the project and feasibility study for bathrooms at Fireside Park in the Mid-Valley community, which is an underserved area. Also, John Landis Parks and some other things, and he says, one of my top priorities that I pushed for as I got on council. After the vote, which, there was a change of heart, Kelvin, Mr. Barrios, texts to Mr. Figueroa, I didn't get a chance to speak, but I'm here. It was packed getting in. Thanks for your comments. It's the best deal this council has seen. We'll have your back, Jimmy. And he says, 1425 temporary construction jobs, to which Jimmy replies with a couple exclamation marks. But again, we heard from the developer himself, 400 of those are coming from Oceanside. Not a slam dunk. The next message comes from an 858 number. That's Arlene Tendick. She is the spokeswoman for the Eddie Jones project. This one came on June 24th. Hi there, checking in. Any chance you're around to grab coffee to review a couple OTC and Eddie Jones next steps? I can come to you in Oceanside, whatever. Yeah, here's the time, we'll meet up. So what's clear here is that this vote, according to Mayor Sanchez, was voted on based on the information we had on that May 21st meeting. But there was other things that were at play. Another thing that we found strange, and I'll set aside the text messages, was at the beginning of that 8-6 meeting, Councilman Robinson said, "I did not know the developer was going to speak." And yet, the PRR, public records request, shows this. This is to Jack Cleary, not Mr. Robinson. It's his aide, so maybe he didn't get the message. But this was at noon. The project was at 5 p.m. And you can see that there's a familiarity there. This is Arlene returning your call. I've left a message, item 22, which is the project. Just want to make sure you don't have any questions. There's also a similar one. I'm running short on time. That similar one goes to Councilmember Weiss. Same thing, from Arlene Tendrick to Weiss. I'll see you tonight if he doesn't have any questions. This has every look of impropriety, every look. Is it or not? I don't know. But it is certainly not out in the open, and it is certainly in violation of the Oceanside Code of Ethics. And so my big question for the council tonight, with my 19 seconds remaining, is just simply this. What is the point of a code of ethics if you can't enforce it? I hope people consider this when you're voting at the next time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Arlene Hammerschmidt, followed by Sheena Schleicher, followed by Susan Niemi?
Thank you, Mayor Sanchez. Arlene Hammerschmidt, Ruralish Fire Mountain. Honorable City Council, don't you just hate to be lied to? Me too. You and we, the public, were lied to in a recent staff report by the Parks and Recreation Director, and that is not okay. I hope it is not normal, and yet I fear it is. This and similar actions previously add to the deep lack of trust in Parks and Recreation administration. Since August 29th, the director has continually and incorrectly referred to the city's recommendation of the Parks and Recreation classification guide as agreed in mediation sessions between city staff representatives and representatives from the community, but that's not true. June 26th, there were still 4 to 5 classifications we could not agree on. He was corrected via email by the mediator, but this misrepresentation, this lie, continued in all 3 of the next staff reports through the entire approval process. So, 8 more weeks of more changes is not coming out of the mediation. So, is the man qualified for his position? Words matter, especially to members of the public reading staff reports. Which is more important to the city? To be trusted, truthful communicators with the public, or to protect staff members? Public perception, honestly, is the latter. Stating falsehoods as truth is absolutely not okay. Thank you.
Ms. Hammerschmidt, were you in the mitigation? You were in the mitigation with the
I'm sorry, I thought there was no comment on public comments.
No, I'm just trying to clarify. Did you actually, were you included in the mediation sessions?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Never mind. Sheena Schleicher, I thought there was a signed agreement that there would be no information coming out of that mediation. That was my question. Sheena Schleicher, followed by Susan Niemi, followed by Ann Ladden.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sheena Schleicher, and my family lives in South Myrtle Hills. I want to flag a zoning text amendment you will eventually see. This is ZA 25-00003, connected with 307 Wilshire Road, because the applicant's own filing makes something very clear. This is a citywide zoning change, not a single parcel request. Their amendment would modify Articles 4 and 14 and apply to every agricultural zoned property in Oceanside, all 3,500 acres. The proposal creates a new category called Rural Service Small Scale. One of the first allowable uses under the category would be an 8,000 square foot commercial medical and dental facility with 6 treatment rooms and up to 7 simultaneous patients. The applicant states it is designed to serve the 400 homes at North River Farms. Before this is framed as small or rural, I want to be clear. Medical and dental clinics are urban commercial uses. They are not agricultural, not rural, and not contemplated anywhere in Article 14 or the South Morrill Hills Community Plan. Agritourism elements mentioned in the filing are secondary. The clinic is the primary use. Article 14 requires the opposite, that farming be the principal use. And here's the most important part. Under current zoning, this project cannot be approved through administrative CUP. A medical office is not permitted as use in ag zone. But the applicant's amendment would create a brand new land use category, put the medical clinics inside it, and assign that entire category to administrative CUP approval, meaning no public hearing, no commission review, no appeal rights, and potentially no full CEQA analysis. The pathway does not exist. It's being created solely to make this project approvable. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Susan Nemi, followed by Ann Ladden, followed by Alvin Lutke.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Sanchez and Honorable City Council members, city staff, fellow residents, and visitors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Susan Nemi, and I am the Executive Director of North County Community Services, Growing Minds Early Education Programs, a nonprofit organization committed to supporting families and children in our community. We are located in the East Side neighborhood of Oceanside at the Balderrama Child Development Center, and for almost 60 years, we have been serving the needs of hundreds of children, ages 0 through 5, and their families too. Our mission is simple, but very powerful, to ensure that every child, regardless of the family's income or circumstances, has access to high-quality early childhood education. Research consistently shows that the first 5 years of life are critical for brain development, social emotional growth, and future academic success. Yet, too many children in our city start kindergarten already behind simply because their families lack resources. At Growing Minds, we work to close that gap. We provide affordable preschool programs, family support services, and developmental screenings to help children thrive. Last year alone, we served over 350 children and families, many of whom would not have had access to these opportunities without our help. These programs don't just benefit individual children, they strengthen our entire community by laying the foundation for a more educated, productive, and equitable future. We know that the city shares these priorities. Investing in early childhood education is one of the most effective ways to reduce long-term costs in areas like remedial education, public assistance, and even public safety. When we give children the best possible start, we all win. Thank you for your time.
Ann Ladden, followed by Alvin Lutke, followed by Michaela Ramirez-Guerin.
Honorable Mayor Sanchez, members of the Oceanside City Council, and staff. My name is Ann Ladden, and I live with my family and horses at 5435 Albright Street in Oceanside. I'm speaking this evening to draw your attention to a proposed high-density 83-home development, Guajome Lake Homes, right next to our property. The Guajome Lake Homes project is everything that the Garrison project is not. It is asking for 7 waivers, including the waiver of the equestrian overlay. My husband and I purchased our home 18 years ago with the dream of retiring here. 2 years ago, with the sale of our boarding stable, also bordering Guajome Park, we were able to fill our dream. Like other tax-paying homeowners in this community, the equestrian overlay is a cornerstone to our rural lifestyle. It is why we invested in this community, why we chose whether horse owners or not, and why we stay here. More than 30 horses are pastured between the intersection of Guajome Lake Road at 76 and its terminus at Osborne. If you include our former boarding stable, which is currently at its permitted capacity, There are more than 100 horses in the immediate vicinity. Most of these equestrians use Guajome Lake Road to reach these park trails. The project will double traffic on Guajome Lake Road, which will also be the only emergency egress from the proposed development. It is only partially paved and has multiple blind corners. With a road this unsafe with its current traffic, imagine the outcome of an event, fire, catastrophic, or catastrophic evacuation event. Having evacuated our stable under the Lilac fire, I had a firsthand experience of how incredibly difficult and dangerous it is. I urge every city council member to drive the length of Guajome Lake Road from 76 to Osborne and back again, not only to understand the positive impact the equestrian overlay has on our community, but to experience firsthand the safety issues that this road presents. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Alvin Ludke, followed by Michaela Ramirez-Guerin, followed by Jennifer Jacobs.
Hey, Alvin Lidke, 5340 Gooseberry Way. Honorable Mayor, members of council, I'm here to speak tonight on the recent approval of the development of 83 homes along Guajome Lake Road and in advance of the appeal scheduled for next month. Beyond the clear adverse environmental impact of this project, I'd like to highlight the public safety risks it brings to the area. Catastrophic events like the Camp, Lahaina, and Palisades fires have shown the dangers of residential development and access-limited wildland-urban interfaces. Areas like Guajome Park are rich in combustible fuels, which when aligned with high heat and wind, can pose significant threats to lives and property. High-density development in such an area is short-sighted and fails to appreciate the increased risks to residents and first responders. The proposed development creates a concentrated residential population while insufficiently expanding emergency ingress for firefighters and escape egress for residents. This invites chaos and catastrophe in the event of a dynamic wildfire event in Guajome Park. As is generally true in Oceanside and across the state, supportive infrastructure is an afterthought to development. The intense focus on the creation of affordable housing should not eclipse risk mitigation to the public. While the developer may have placated the Planning Commission with assurances of fire-resistant building materials, I can assure you that people are not fire-resistant. As elected officials charged with safeguarding the lives and welfare of Oceanside residents, I encourage each of you to weigh the benefit of increased housing units against the very real risks associated with this project's proposed location. Thank you.
Thank you. Michaela Ramirez-Guerin, followed by Jennifer Jacobs, followed by Michael Tenover. Michaela? Okay. I just saw her, but maybe she left. Jennifer Jacobs, followed by Michael Tenover. Jennifer Jacobs?
I want to show something on my phone. Put it up here. It's a video. Okay.
You might need the mic to put on.
Not sure how this is going to work. Oh, it's just, there's no audio. Just okay. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Jacobs, and I'm here to talk about the high-density housing development that is threatening to destroy the rural equestrian community around Guajome Park. The project Guajome Lake Homes proposes 83 houses in less than 10 acres right next to our park. I don't know if any of you have driven the full length of Guajome Lake Road, but I urge you to do so. You have to see this area to understand. It is the opposite of high density. You'll drive by large lots, a 19-acre farm, numerous horse properties, including one right next to the site, and multiple horse boarding facilities. The road itself is narrow, partially unpaved, and has multiple blind turns. Though many of us enjoy the country charm of this road, it would unfortunately become a serious safety risk. The project would add an additional 830 daily car trips, more than doubling the current volume. The peak traffic hour, which was determined to be 7:15 to 8:15 a.m. in the environmental impact report, captured 22% of the daily traffic. Applying that percentage to the new volume would result in 338 car trips in just a single hour. This is a fatality waiting to happen. In the event of a wildfire, there is only one evacuation route, and the road is not up to fire code standard. Also, the project poses a serious safety risk to our equestrian community, as you have heard. This area is in the Equestrian Zoning Overlay District, the only one of its kind in Oceanside, which was created to protect equestrians. Many equestrians ride their horses along Guahomie Lake Road to access the riding trails in the park. Imagine the danger in trying to ride along that road with 830 more cars, or trying to protect your horse from the noise and pollution of 200 plus new neighbors. It boils down to this: high density and horses don't mix. We don't see equestrian zoning in dense, high-traffic areas like downtown for a reason. Horses belong in rural areas to give space for both the horses and the people who live around them. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Tenover, followed by John Osborne, followed by Jimmy Knott.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, my name is Mike Tenover, 873 Waller Drive. And tonight I'm just going to make an observation about the Guahomie Lakes project. Just 2,000 feet away from the proposed project, we've already proposed, approved, and built the project very similar. Called the Rancho Rose project. It was completed in 2004. As you can see, it's comparable number of units, gross acres, even the density, 8.2 to 8.4, very similar. However, at this point, the projects diverge. The Rancho Roads project, they decided, although they didn't have to fit into the CAL FAR Zone 2 guideline. This project does not. When it comes to the overlay topic, which we've heard about tonight, they decided they would integrate into the environment, into the heritage of that area, then the culture. And so they included equestrian facilities and easement. The Guahomie Lake project simply says, I want a waiver, I want to get out of this. Thank you.
Thank you. John Osborne, followed by Jimmy Knott, followed by Larry Warner. We do have two podiums, so thank you.
What do I need to do?
John Osborne?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, when I first moved to Oceanside, I lived right across the park. I'm a bird watcher, naturalist. I go there maybe 4 times a week. But what I wanted to bring to your attention tonight was that in going there so frequently, I see the people who use the park. There are families who use the playgrounds and picnic tables. There are runners and walkers who are out there for exercise and fresh air and all of the things that lift our spirits. There are the people who ride their horses on the trails. There's 6 miles of trails there for them to ride on. There are the kids that fish in the pond. There are people like me who search for rare birds. And what I really wanted to say is that the one thing that all of us have in common, all of the people who use the park, who are very varied, is they all have smiles on their faces. They are all out there enjoying fresh air, open skies, and the delights of being in nature and getting away from the humdrum of everyday life. And I really believe seriously that this project will destroy that, and it's not going to be something that can easily be replaced or found elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knott, followed by Larry Warner, followed by Murray Damoose Lee.
Mayor, council members, Jimmy Knott, 127 Sherry Lane. What I have here is the agenda from the Clean Energy Alliance that took place at the down in Encinitas, I believe. And that was on the 20th of November. And our representative there is Jimmy Figueroa, who did an excellent job. There were 3 citizens there representing the City of Oceanside trying to get reduced rates for all of our citizens. Dan Dominguez, Steve Earl, and myself, pointing out that our people here are paying 42% higher rates than the rest of this nation. Did you get that? 42% higher. And that's for our seniors, our low-income people who have other things to pay for, like food, clothing, medical, transportation, communication, utilities, that are not being considered. I'm going to let Mr. Figueroa, Councilman Figueroa, tell you the results of that. But we made an impact, very good impact. That's the results will be disclosed January 29th of 2026. The information there was received very amicably. I will have to say, due to some of the results of the input from Councilman Figueroa. He has done an excellent job there. But I will also say that if it wasn't for the participation from a lot of our citizens at some of the surrounding boards and commissions and committees, we would not have the recognition that we deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry Warner, followed by Murray Lee, followed by John Swain.
This is a follow-up from a meeting we had last month when we discussed the community trust resolution. One of the issues brought up at that time was the need for additional information to be added to the Know Your Rights page on the City of Oceanside website. I visited that website today, and after a few clicks, you get back to this PDF, which is only in English and does not have the needed information that would be helpful for those who are in our community at risk from ICE. There's nothing about the right to refuse ICE requests to search homes or vehicles without a judicial warrant. Immigrants need to know they have a right to be free from unreasonable searches of their homes and vehicles as protected by the Fourth Amendment. This understanding can help immigrants who may feel vulnerable become more confident in handling encounters with ICE and thus make better decisions. Additionally, enhancing awareness can build trust between the immigrant communities and our city government. By clarifying their Fourth Amendment rights, we can reduce anxiety surrounding interactions with authorities and contribute to a more informed immigrant community, which may very well keep immigrants in Oceanside from being detained and disappeared. Especially with the new leadership given to ICE, as recorded in the Union Tribune on October 24th. That now Border Patrol is going to take over, which is more aggressive in their tactics. So I ask you to revisit the website, expand the Know Your Rights page that includes Fourth and Fifth Amendments, or Fourth Amendments. This is an example of such from a website up in LA. So that once again, you have a chance to say to the immigrant community, we see you, we hear you, we care about you, you matter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and we'll check on that. There's a button on top that should provide different languages, but we'll check to see if what's happening is that any PDFs are not being translated, but we'll definitely make sure that that happens. Thank you. Thank you. Murray Lee, followed by John Swain.
Madam Mayor, City Council, citizens of Oceanside, my name's Murray Lee. I'm better known as the Moose. I've been making moose surfboards for over 50 years now. My next door neighbor.
Can I ask, is his mic on? Okay.
Okay. Can I get 3 minutes?
I'll work with you.
Okay. My next door neighbor has no meter in their electric box there for over 3 years. My electric bill started out to be $100. Last month it was $405. I have a police report here showing that I've had over $15,000 worth of electricity stolen from me from my next door neighbor that has no meter. The people moved out next door. 4 months ago, my landlord tried to evict me for unjust causes. I won in court against a lawyer. all by myself. And in retaliation, my landlord allowed 12 people to move in next door to me, run up my electric bill to $405. There's 6 kids living next door to me. Here's my electric wires that are coming out of my meter are taped up. I've called code enforcement over the last 2 years, the fire department, the police department. I have called you up at least 2 or 3 times. I've been to your office at least 2 or 3 times. Code enforcement has done nothing about it. And 4 days ago, I got evicted in eviction court for a minor technicality. I paid the rent on time. And in any minute now, I got a 5-day notice going to be put on my door, and nobody's going to help me out. Not one person in this city has helped me out in this situation. I'm out over $15,000 in electric. My landlord has towed both my cars illegally. I'm a disabled senior citizen, and nobody's done anything. The landlord staged a car accident, which I was charged with hit and run 5 minutes before the trial. Charges were all dropped. The landlord staged the accident, tampered with evidence. The police department has done nothing to this man about it. And I am looking at any minute, thank you very much, at being evicted in 5 days. Thank you. Have a nice day, Oceanside.
Thank you. John Swain.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come before you tonight with 3 documents in my hand, which I'll give to you guys once I'm done here, but it has to do with a tentative parcel map, which was filed here for 5725 North River Road. Anyways, and the violations of specific codes. This particular property, which happens to be the most southern property in the South Morro Hills District, is the only property which encompasses the San Luis Rey River that runs right through it. So when I look on Sandag GIS data maps, it is not an agricultural district. It is zoned as 2 zoning. One is zoned under section 1000, which is an open space use, and the other one is designated as a riparian habitat. And so because of this, now we're talking about fees to the property owner, which we're now going to be protesting under California Government Code section 66,020, subsection A, and pursuant to the protest and the current administrative fines that are being imposed, I ask that those fines be suspended pending withdrawal of the protest and confirmation that we can be added on to the next city council agenda in 2 weeks to get this new tentative parcel map, obviously with a notice for non-renewal, and enter into a new tentative parcel map as significant capital improvements exist on this property for which we are prevented from moving forward on as a result of this tentative parcel map currently in place. Thank you.
Sir, we do have our city development services director, Darlene Nicandra. She'll speak to you outside.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a request from the city manager, so thank you. All right. We are now at general council member comments. Before we adjourn, Councilmember Robinson, followed by Councilmember Figueroa, followed by Deputy Mayor Joyce.
Real quick for me, just had Utilities Commission meeting this past week, and this morning we had the North County Dispatch JPA Board of Directors meeting, and I was reelected to be the chair of the board, so I'm very happy to serve there. And been attending some Libby Lake community workshops, and Esmeralda's still out here. Deputy Mayor's aide has been leading some of these workshops out there, and I just wanted to bring her attention. She does a really good job, so thank you very much for that. And of course, the Rising Star events are going on, so get there if you can. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Figueroa?
Yeah, just really quick, two things. I don't think I mentioned this at our last council meeting, but I've been partnering with Vista Unified School District to help participate in parent gang awareness workshops, specifically with the schools that service my Tri-City area. And I just want to thank Oceanside Police Department, who also participated in those workshops with parents in regards to just enhancing gang awareness and activity going on at their schools and their community. And then also participated in Pastor Sheldon Brown annual turkey basketball tournament the Saturday right before Thanksgiving. Oceanside Police Department had a team, so I played on their team along with our city, one of our city attorneys, Nelson Candelario. He played also with us. We lost in the first round. Yeah, it was a close game. But no, I always appreciate OPD showing up. It was actually a great turnout from the community. We had multiple nonprofit providers out there tabling, and then Oceanside Police Department brought out their lowrider. They parked it like right in front of the basketball court. So it was a really great experience, but also highlighting just a lot of the work that Pastor Sheldon's been doing in our community. And so, yeah, it was an awesome experience. We usually have fire department there as well. We didn't have you guys this time, so we missed you guys, but.
Chief, so are you protesting? But lost to the champions, okay. Deputy Mayor.
Geez, first round, no. Just want to give a couple of shout outs to our Parks and Rec staff. For one, they supported with the turkey trot, which my children and 9,000 other people participated in the Move Your Feet in the morning of Thanksgiving, which was a wonderful, safe, beautiful event in downtown area. Love to see everybody taking over our streets with their feet. I also attended the Baldaramov Thanksgiving event that's hosted every year by Parks and Rec staff again, and co-hosted by lots of folks from the community, including our resource staff. So I want to give a shout out to them because those were both amazing events, and I really enjoyed it. And then at the Oceanside Transit Center, we have some amazing new art that was grant funded through NCTD in partnership with Main Street, where local artists painted these wonderful seascapes of sea animals in the tunnel and in the area going down into the tunnel. So if you haven't checked out that new mural and a beautification of a place that honestly you would just rush through any other day, now it's a pretty stunning transformation. So I would recommend folks check that out. And then we're going to be bringing together a group of folks that are interested in green spaces next week. So if you're interested in that, reach out to our office. Thank you.
Thank you. And I too want to thank Manny Gonzalez, Parks and Rec Director, for taking the lead on Friendsgiving. This has become a tradition, and this was the first time Parks and Rec actually led on it since before it was the housing department as well as Project Reach. And so thank you so much. It was wonderful. We've been doing this, I want to say, for 20 years or so, and the kids are always pretty phenomenal. I still remember one time that we had a chance to talk in a circle where the kids, two kids in separate tables, when asked, what are you thankful for? And they said, that I'm still alive. And now things have really changed in the community. There were, I don't know, 150 kids maybe. There were a lot of kids. And La Perla Tapatía again helped, sponsor the tamales, because we always have to have tamales, right? And also, speaking of Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving with family and friends. And Shiloh Church, which is also in the east side, they do a turkey dinner giveaway, basically all the fixings, all the things needed to be able to cook up a dinner. Turkeys are frozen. And they actually gave away 300 turkeys, along with a lot of toys. including bicycles. So I really appreciate Pastor George Bailey and Frank for doing all that, and for all the community coming out to help. Lots of volunteers. Can't happen without all the volunteers. So thank you to Shiloh Church of God in Christ for doing that. And Councilmember Weiss.
Mayor, I had a question. Do you know when the tree lighting is?
Yes, the tree lighting is tomorrow, Thursday. Thank you for reminding us. You've got to all come out to the Regal Plaza. It's at 6 o'clock, but just prior for that, Santa will be arriving in a fire truck. So, he swaps out one for a little bit, his sleigh, red sleigh, for a red truck. So please all come out. Parks and Rec will again be hosting some activities there for the kids. And of course, Main Street Oceanside, the evening market, Sunset Market will be really blasting it away. So thank you. Be there, everybody. Thank you. And this meeting is adjourned to December 17th, 2025, 3:30 for closed session. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.